switching the Tamoco SDK to the new Smartwhere EU SDK for iOS. So here we have a simple project that is currently using the Tamoco framework, and we're going to switch that to the new Smartware framework for the EU. Make sure that we select the actual one that's defined for the EU server farm, not the US server farm. So we're going to go ahead and, this is a GZ file, we'll just click it and go ahead and expand this. Here we go, and we have the Smartware framework. So let's go ahead and take that Smartware framework and copy it into our existing project. We're going to want to make sure that the item is copied in. So if that box is not clicked, we should go ahead and set it. And then click finish, and it should bring in the framework. Okay, one of the differences in our new frameworks is that we no longer include our dependent frameworks. It was causing some problems through our build machine that, for some applications like Crashalytics. So at this point, you need to include our dependent SDKs. So let's do that now. Some of the objects. Let's go back to our project, click on the project, get down to our frameworks. First one we're going to add is add support. Let's go ahead and add that one. We will add system configuration framework. We're going to add the core Bluetooth framework. And last but not least, we're going to add the core location framework, if I can type this correctly. There we go. Okay, so those are the dependent frameworks. Now we can go ahead and start to remove the Tamoco framework. So we're going to select that and just right-click to delete it. And we're going to want to go ahead and just move it to trash and get it out of the project completely. Okay, in this particular app, all of the methods are implemented in the appdelegate.m. And the appdelegate.h. We're going to start in with the appdelegate.h, and you'll see that the import for the Tamoco SDK is no longer valid. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that with the Smartware import. And we're going to see that the Tamoco object is no longer valid, so we can replace that with the Smartware. It's a uppercase W. It doesn't really matter what our instance variable is named, so you can leave it to whatever it's currently named. Here it's Tamoco, but it doesn't really matter. So let's go into our appdelegate.m. So the Tamoco delegate here needs to be replaced with the Smartware delegate. Okay, that doesn't look right. Okay, there we go. That's better. And TA notification is no longer TA, it is SW notification. So we'll replace that. Here we're actually instantiating the SDK in did finish loading with options. You may do it in somewhere else, but here we're also passing in a dictionary of configuration parameters. It doesn't matter what you call that, so we'll leave it alone. Okay, now we come down to did receive local notification. This gets fired locally. We're going to switch this to the Smartware object. And the notification that gets passed in is now also an SW notification. And you may be using some other methods, but these are the core methods. You can see some of the methods up there, like application did become active, or application did enter background, or you can go ahead and leave those. There's a couple things too, like the debugging flag. To get debug messaging is stored in the info plist, and we want to change this from com.tamoco.debuglogging to com.smartware.debuglogging. Here it's enabled as yes, which you normally wouldn't do in production, but great for debugging, so we'll go ahead and change that. Also, if you're setting user-definable attributes through a setting bundle, then you're going to want to change the naming convention of those as well. So it normally goes com.smartwhere.setting and then the name of the user attribute. That user attribute matches to the event condition, so you can control or allow users to control various event conditions. Now we'll go ahead and compile this. I'm going to select a device and go ahead and run the application. So if your account has been moved to the EU server farm, then this should just immediately function. If you have the device locked, I'll go ahead and unlock it so this will continue. If you talk to Smartwhere Account Services to make sure it's there, the Tamoco SDK has been deprecated and will stop functioning. It's currently still working, but will be replaced or will no longer function at the end of May 2016. So it's important to get the SDK updated. We messed something up here. Okay, so in the did receive local notification, this needs to be the Smartwhere object, Smartwhere here. So, and that is fixed. So let's go ahead and rerun this. You're going to see a couple of errors here down in this message, but that's simply because we did not include a valid application ID, API key, or secret. If you have an existing app, these variables will continue to function. You don't need to change those. So whatever you have them set to now, that should be valid and this should function. And that's really it. That's all there is to it. Pretty straightforward. There's some messages, there's some links at the bottom of the video. Thanks for your time.